These were the reason I called it 24 karat gold is because they're like these are the golden songs. Some of them were recorded by Fleetwood Mac, and I wasn't crazy about the arrangement, so I pulled them.
Stevie Nicks is more than just a rock legend. She's an icon whose influence spans generations and genres. From her musical stage presence to her groundbreaking music, her impact is undeniable. But how exactly has she shaped the careers of today's top artists? And what makes her legacy so timeless in the ever-changing world of music? Stay tuned as we explore the fascinating story behind Stevie Nicks' lasting influence. Early life and career beginnings. Born Stephanie Lynn Nicks in Phoenix, Arizona, on May 26, 1948, Stevie Nicks was early exposed to music through her family. Jess Nicks, her father, was a corporate executive whose profession routinely called for family relocation. Jess Nicks was a fervent supporter of her musical endeavors, despite the rigors of his work. Barbara Nicks, her mother, was a homemaker, whose equally important contribution was to create a loving and encouraging surroundings. Stevie's early love of music was greatly inspired by Barbara's backing as well as by the family's general encouragement. The Nicks household was rife with musical inspirations. Stevie's grandfather was a multi-instrument player, and her musical taste was clearly influenced by him. Her uncle Jonathan was also instrumental in bringing Stevie into the rock and roll scene. Stevie's love of music and Jonathan's record collection introduced her to a range of genres and performers which piqued her desire for a future in music. Because of Jess's career, the family moved frequently. Stevie lived in Dallas, Houston, and Los Angeles, among other places, and attended several colleges. Her tendency and adaptability, qualities she would later find useful in the often shifting terrain of the music business, were shaped in part by this mobility. Her passion for music stayed a consistent thread across her life, even with the turbulence. Through each move, music remained Stevie's constant, grounding her and building her strength for the challenges to come. Early on in life, Stevie Nicks started investigating her musical abilities. Driven by a natural love of music, she began singing and penning songs during her early years. She was already heavily involved in neighborhood bands, touring schools and community events by the time she was a teenager. These early encounters gave her a stage on which to refine her abilities and acquire a unique style that would define her career going forward. Attending Menlo College in California in the late 1960s, Nicks met gifted artist Lindsey Buckingham, with whom she would create a lifelong musical relationship. Their meeting proved crucial, since the two had instantaneous and indisputable chemistry. Under the moniker Buckingham Nicks, they started doing shows together. Though it lacked economic success at the time, their cooperation created a self-titled album in 1973 that was a pivotal turning point in their path. Their failure on the album did not discourage them, rather it prepared them for their next successes. The distinctive mix of folk rock and pop that defined Buckingham and Nicks's music was typified by Nicks's hauntingly beautiful voice, enhancing Buckingham's deft guitar work. The pair's unique voice and capacity to combine musical innovation with personal experience prepared the ground for their ultimate success. The meeting with Lindsey marked the beginning of a powerful partnership, one that would shape Stevie's rise in the music world. When Stevie Nicks and Buckingham were hired to join Fleetwood Mac, a British blues band trying to reinvigorate itself, 1974 became a pivotal moment in her career. Fleetwood Mac was having trouble with direction at this point and losing commercial success. Nicks and Buckingham had a transforming effect on the band, giving them a new pop-oriented sound that restored its career. The arrival of Nicks gave Fleetwood Mac's songs fresh perspective. Her unique vocal and Buckingham's guitar work helped the band's approach change remarkably. One important turning point was the 1975 publication of the self-titled album Fleetwood Mac. With a mix of songs highlighting Nick's voice and songwriting skills, This album launched the band's commercial success. Written by Nix, songs like Rhiannon and Landslide, which showcased her own style and emotional depth, helped to establish her as a major creative force inside the band. Her contributions, both vocally and lyrically, took Fleetwood Mac from a band in search of direction to a worldwide sensation. The triumph of Fleetwood Mac was followed in 1977 with the release of Rumours, an album that would rank among the best-selling records of all time. It was the raw, emotional authenticity that caught the strong personal and professional dynamics within the band. There was great personal conflict during the album's production, especially the stormy relationship between Nix and Buckingham. The emotionally charged lyrics and ideas from the album represented their romantic engagement, which ended just before Rumours was recorded. Despite the personal conflicts, Nix and Buckingham's creative synergy propelled the record to a legendary status. Rumours cemented Fleetwood Mac's place in music history. The critical praise stemmed largely from Nix's contributions, her powerful vocals and moving lyricism, among other things. Songs like Dreams and Gold Dust Woman became iconic, showcasing Nix's ability to turn personal suffering into universally relatable music. The album's lasting appeal reflected not only the band's technical prowess, but also Nix's profound influence on its direction and sound. Could Fleetwood Mac have achieved the same success without Nix's presence? Fleetwood Mac's success largely revolved around the intense chemistry between Nix and Buckingham, both personal and professional. Their complicated relationship, which alternated between harmony and conflict, fueled the band's dynamism and creativity. While personal turmoil persisted, Nix's talents as a songwriter and performer were crucial to the band's continued success. Her role in the band became irreplaceable, elevating Fleetwood Mac to new heights. The foundation of Stevie Nicks' career was built long before Fleetwood Mac, stemming from her family's musical background and early encounters with local bands. The turning point came when Nix and Lindsey Buckingham joined Fleetwood Mac, a move that would forever change the trajectory of her career. Her ascent to fame and eventual status as a major force in one of the most legendary rock bands in history can be traced back to this pivotal moment. Her path from a musically oriented child to an iconic rock singer shows the significant impact early experiences can have on shaping a successful career. Rise to fame and early challenges. Their 1975 self-titled album marked the turning point of Fleetwood Mac into a top-charting rock band. Fleetwood Mac was having trouble redefining its sound following multiple lineup changes when Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham joined the group. Combining Buckingham's guitar mastery with Nicks's unique voice and compositional ability, the new member gave the band a fresh vitality. Though their first album together, Fleetwood Mac, had pop and rock elements that would appeal to a larger audience, it was Rumours, released in 1977, that solidified the band's position in rock history. Driven by its emotional intensity, Rumours evolved into a cultural phenomenon. Internal conflict dogged the album's production. Band members' romantic entanglements resulted in a stormy recording experience. Beginning before they joined Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham's relationship was failing and reflected in the album's themes of heartache and betrayal. Songs by Nicks, such as Dreams and Gold Dust Woman, became particularly popular tracks that connected with listeners, therefore augmenting the album's success. One of the best-selling albums of all time, Rumours demonstrated the band's ability to turn their personal hardships into generally relevant music. The triumph of Rumours came with a price. Personal interactions among the band were tense. A major cause of conflict was Nicks and Buckingham's breakup. The band's general dynamics reflected their turbulent exchanges. The band's drummer, Mick Fleetwood, grappled with personal problems. Christine McVie, who was married to Fleetwood at the time, likewise battled personal strife. Notwithstanding these obstacles, The band's success was much enhanced by their capacity to direct their feelings into their songs. Though challenging, the personal tragedies came to define the band and add to their mystique. Could the pressures of fame and personal struggle have derailed Stevie Nicks' career? Stevie Nicks suffered under the weight of the music business as Fleetwood Mac's popularity grew. The great attention and ongoing need for public appearances aggravated already existing problems, which resulted in drug usage issues. To help with the stress, Nicks turned to cocaine, a decision that would have significant consequences for her profession and general well-being. Her struggle with addiction in the 1970s and early 1980s caused her physical condition to suffer as well as her creativity. Along with drug usage, the way of life of continuous travel and recording also caused creative fatigue. Nicks's battles with addiction affected her performance and creative output in her personal life, therefore influencing not just her personal challenge, but also her relationship. Nicks had to negotiate a double load from the demands of upholding her public image against addiction. Notwithstanding the difficulties, both personally and professionally, Nicks's skill was indisputable. She put her first solo album, Belladonna, out in 1981. Commercially successful, the album highlighted Nicks's unique voice and skillful songwriting outside of Fleetwood Mac. With singles like Edge of 17 and Stop Draggin' My Heart Around, a duet with Tom Petty, Belladonna established Nicks as a strong solo performer. In light of these challenges, how did Nicks manage to reinvent herself and maintain her musical prowess? Belladonna pointed out how well Nicks combined rock, pop, and a little mysticism, qualities that distinguished her particular approach. Her adaptability and tenacity, shown by the album's popularity, helped her to negotiate a successful solo career while staying a member of Fleetwood Mac. For Nicks, this time was a critical turning point, since she could succeed both as a solitary artist and as a member of a big band. Fleetwood Mac's transforming success with Fleetwood Mac and Rumours marked both emotional and professional struggles. Together with Nicks's battles with drug use and the demands of celebrity, the band's internal dynamics combined to produce a turbulent but very successful career. Notwithstanding these obstacles, Nicks' solo hit with Belladonna confirmed her rock icon reputation by highlighting her musical ability and fortitude. Health issues and addiction struggle. One major and well-documented episode in Stevie Nicks' life is her struggle with cocaine addiction during the height of her success. Her health suffered as Fleetwood Mac flew to unheard-of success in the late 1970s and early 1980s, under incessant travel and expectations of celebrity. Like many of her contemporaries, Nicks took to cocaine as a coping strategy, thinking it would keep her energy levels up and help her negotiate the demands of the music business. Cocaine first seemed to give the jolt Nicks required. From recording sessions to large tours, the stimulant effects helped her to keep up with the demanding pace of her work. But this apparently quick remedy soon turned into a hazardous habit. Use of cocaine resulted in a number of medical and psychological problems. Nicks developed serious skin issues, a great degree of weight loss, and more vulnerability to infection. Her once vibrant and unique voice started to fade as the medicine compromised her respiratory system. Mentally, cocaine had equally terrible effects. Not only did Nicks suffer in her personal life, but also in her work performance from hallucinations, mood swings, and paranoia. Her impulsive behavior resulted in public events and damaged relationships among Fleetwood Mac. Her infamous tale of addiction is one of great emotional highs and lows, which she frequently reflected in her public appearances and on-stage performance. Her mental health problems were already compounded by the media's close examination, which also made her addiction a well-known and talked-about topic. Could Nicks's decision to seek help be the crucial turning point in her battle with addiction? Unquestionably, by the middle of the 1980s, Nicks's cocaine addiction was causing harm. Her health had gotten much worse, which caused a serious review of her work and way of life. Nicks made a crucial choice in 1986 to ask for help. She went into the Betty Ford Clinic, a well-known addiction treatment facility providing specifically designed treatment for drug usage. Nix received a thorough recovery program from the Betty Ford Clinic involving medical care, therapy, and counseling. The therapy sought to solve her psychological elements of her addiction as well as her physical dependence on cocaine. Nix's stay in the facility was a turning point in her road of recovery. It signaled the start of an arduous but necessary process of self-discovery and healing. Nix faced the underlying problems driving her addiction in individual and group treatment sessions she attended at Betty Ford. Her recovery was much enhanced by the encouragement of peers in such circumstances and addiction experts. Emerging from recovery with a fresh emphasis on her health and a dedication to reconstructing her life and profession, Nix came forward. Her choice to get treatment and her following recovery became turning points in her life, showing her will to conquer obstacles. Despite overcoming addiction, what were the enduring effects on Nix's career and personal life? Though Stevie Nicks overcame her cocaine addiction, there were long-term consequences for her. Her voice suffered, among other most important effects. Years of cocaine addiction left Nix with a voice notably changed from damage. Her vocal range dropped as she battled to keep the clarity and intensity that had marked her singing. This vocal metamorphosis forced her to change her approach and singing technique, therefore impacting her records and performances in the years after her recuperation. Creatively, Nix's career suffered during the period of addiction and following rehabilitation. Her great concentration on her personal problems took her focus away from music, which resulted in a period of lower creative output and production. She kept releasing songs, including the hit album The Other Side of the Mirror in 1989, but her creative energy clearly suffered from time lost to addiction. Maintaining her former degree of artistic output while dealing with the consequences of addiction presented major difficulties, but Nix's fortitude let her keep working in the music business. Personally, the consequences of addiction affected Nix's relationships and public reputation. Her personal relationships with family and friends suffered greatly, hence repairing these ties proved crucial for her recovery. Nix's battle with addiction also altered her public image, turning her from a damaged rock star into a person who had surmounted great difficulty. For many, her candor regarding her challenges and road to recovery has been a source of motivation and knowledge, since it provides understanding of the reality of addiction and the road to recovery. The battle Stevie Nicks fought with cocaine addiction defined her life and career. Her physical condition, mental state, and professional performance suffered greatly. But a pivotal turning point came from her choice to get treatment and her following recovery at the Betty Ford Clinic. Addiction has had long-lasting impacts on her voice, creative productivity, and personal relationships, as well as on other aspects. Notwithstanding these obstacles, Nix's tenacity and will have helped her to carry on her powerful career in the music business, therefore attesting to her strength and endurance. Relationships and personal struggles. Among the most often discussed elements of Stevie Nicks' personal life are her ties with her Fleetwood Mac colleagues. Early in their career, her romance with Lindsey Buckingham defined their path forward from Fleetwood Mac's founding. Their passionate love and creative cooperation became among the most important dynamics in Fleetwood Mac's success. Still, a major turning point came from their romantic connection breaking up in the middle of the 1970s. Their breakup caused significant emotional ramifications. Nicks and Buckingham stayed working together inside Fleetwood Mac despite their split, producing a complicated and sometimes explosive situation. Their obvious personal conflict affected the band's music, especially the album Rumors. Songs by Nicks, such as Dreams and Go Your Own Way, captured the complexity and suffering of their relationship, therefore adding to the raw and emotional depth of the album. During Fleetwood Mac's most successful run, this mix of personal conflict and professional cooperation became a defining figure. During this trying period, Nix also had a brief affair with band drummer Mick Fleetwood. Though their marriage was brief, it gave the band dynamics still another degree of emotional complexity. While difficult, the close ties with Fleetwood Mac sometimes resulted in conflict and tension that stimulated their creative production. The band's personal challenges and romantic entanglements turned into a great source of inspiration for their songs, since they demonstrated their capacity to transform their own experiences into generally relevant art. How did Stevie Nicks' family relationships influence her emotionally and artistically? A pillar of Nicks' emotional life were her family bonds. She especially bonded closely with her parents, Jess and Barbara Nicks. Nicks suffered greatly upon the death of her father in 2005. Her father's death had a significant effect on her music as much as on her emotionally. Nicks has talked on how her sense of loss and grief affected her songs and general perspective on life. Apart from family challenges, Nicks' personal and professional life revolved heavily on her friendships inside the music business. Especially significant was her personal relationship with Tom Petty, a friend and fellow artist. He was also a collaborator. Petty's friendship and support gave Nicks consistency and hope under trying circumstances. Their duet, Stop Draggin' My Heart Around, for example, demonstrated their close relationship and mutual respect. Nicks also maintained a close relationship with Prince, someone who greatly shaped her career. Prince valued Nicks' work and even asked her to help on musical projects. Mutual respect and support define their friendship, and Nicks has repeatedly discussed how Prince's influence shaped her confidence and musical taste. How did Stevie Nicks' choice not to have children impact her personal and professional life? Stevie Nicks chose personally not to have children, a decision that has had a significant effect on her life and work. Nicks has freely shared her motivations for this choice, stressing among important elements her career aspirations and the rigorous nature of her work. She has said that juggling a profession and children would have been difficult given the way a touring artist would lead their life. Her life was molded in several different ways by her choice. Personally, it meant that Nicks' attention stayed on her career and personal interests. Her love of music helped her to completely commit herself to her profession and artistic endeavors, but it also required negotiating a career path different from traditional ones for women in the entertainment business. Her public image also changed in response to her decision not to have children. Nicks has been a major player in conversations on female musicians and their positions in the business, and her choice helped her to be known as a trailblazer who broke conventional wisdom. Although it was a very personal decision, it evolved into a component of her greater story as a strong, autonomous rock musician. For Stevie Nicks, relationships and personal challenges have been essential components of both her life and work. The music and dynamics of Fleetwood Mac were much changed by her romantic entanglements inside the band, especially with Lindsey Buckingham. Support and inspiration came from Nicks' familial challenges, including the death of her father, as well as from her friendships with powerful people like Tom Petty and Prince. Her life and profession have also been much shaped by her decision not to have children, motivated by personal choice and career concerns. These intimate facets of Nicks' life have entwined with her career path, therefore adding to her rich and varied legacy. Recent revelations. Stevie Nicks has lately become open about facets of her personal life that were hitherto less known. Interviews, her memoirs, and public remarks, among other sources, have yielded these disclosures. Her past romantic relationships and the effects they have had on her life are among the most remarkable revelations. Nicks has revealed specifics about her turbulent relationship with Lindsey Buckingham, so clarifying the emotional turbulence driving their songs. She has spoken about the great personal and creative conflicts resulting from their relationship in public events and interviews, so illuminating how their personal challenges were entwined with their professional achievements. Nicks has also gone back over her brief affair with Mick Fleetwood and considered how these relationships shaped her career and personal development. Recent revelations about her personal hardships also include open assessments of her struggle with drug abuse and the difficulties of upholding a public persona while juggling personal suffering. Open about the effects of her addiction, Nix has provided fresh analysis of how she has battled these problems and the continuous influence they have had on her life. In addition to relationship struggles, what other personal challenges has Nix been open about? Stevie Nicks has lately been open about her struggle with the chronic illness Epstein-Barr virus, or EBV, which seriously compromises her health. Nicks said she got the virus in the 1980s and was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Affecting her energy levels and general health, the illness has been a major obstacle for her. Nicks has detailed how EBV has affected her capacity to tour and perform at her regular high standards. Extreme tiredness and weakness brought on by the virus have periodically caused her to cancel or postpone events. Her candor about this battle has raised awareness of the reality of living with a chronic illness and the changes needed to manage it while keeping a rigorous job. Her life has revolved much around the fight with Epstein-Barr virus, which shapes her public appearances and work calendar. Nicks has persevered and shown flexibility in the face of health problems by continuing to interact with her fans and perform despite these obstacles. How has Nicks managed to maintain her career despite the challenges of chronic illness? Stevie Nicks has confronted aging in an industry sometimes attacked for its ageism and sexism as she approaches her 70s. Being an older woman navigating the music business has given Nicks, who has been open about her experiences, particular difficulties. Nicks has spoken out against age-related discrimination as she has experienced, pointing out that compared to her male colleagues, older female artists often have fewer opportunities. She has discussed the social pressures to fit young standards of performance and beauty, as well as the challenges of being taken seriously as an aging performer. Notwithstanding these obstacles, Nicks has embraced her reputation as a trailblazing musician and used her platform to promote more acceptance and respect for older women in music. Her ongoing success and public profile are evidence of her tenacity and rejection of business conventions. For many, including Stevie Nicks, the COVID-19 epidemic presented major difficulties. Nicks struggled with mental health issues, as she has freely shared in recent interviews throughout the lockdowns and periods of isolation. As it has been for many artists, the epidemic's effects on her personal life and career have been significant. Nicks talks about her anxiety and loneliness she felt throughout the epidemic. Her mental health problems were worsened and she felt isolated since she couldn't visit or interact personally with her supporters. She has talked about how the absence of live events and the general disturbance to her schedule compromised her emotional stability. How has Nicks emphasized the importance of mental health during these challenging times? Nicks has underlined in interviews the need for keeping mental health during these unparalleled times. She has talked about coping mechanisms and the support networks she turned to negotiate the uncertainty and loneliness the epidemic brought about. Her openness on these challenges has given important new perspectives on the mental health effects of the epidemic on publicly visible people. Legacy and impact. Extensive and varied, Stevie Nicks's influence on next generations of musicians spans many genres and artistic forms. Many modern musicians have been much influenced by her unique voice, mesmerizing stage presence, and innovative approach to music. Florence Welch of Florence and the Machines has mentioned Nicks as a big inspiration quite a bit. Dramatic performances and ethereal vocals by Welch reflect Nicks's own approach to stagecraft and song. The emotional intensity and mystical elements Florence and the Machines combines reflect the magical quality Nicks brought to her work with Fleetwood Mac. Welch's respect for Nicks is clear in her music, where the combination of soul and rock with a hint of the fantastical reminds one of Nicks's own inventive sound. The sister trio Haim has also noted how Nicks affected their image and songs. Strong, confident female vocals and dramatic instrumentation define Haim's contemporary rock sound, which honors Nix's legacy. The band's recognition of Nix's emphasizes her function as a trailblazer in female rock music. Marked by a mix of rock, pop, and R&B influences, their own success reflects the ongoing appeal of Nix's style and her impact on female artists negotiating the music business. As we continue to explore Nix's influence on contemporary artists, her lasting impact on modern music becomes even more evident. Known for her reflective songs and unusual sound, Lorde has also expressed appreciation for Nix. Lorde's unique vocal technique and ability to weave personal events into her songs recall Nix's method. The gratitude of the New Zealand artist for Nix's emphasizes the latter's influence on musicians who respect emotional depth and authenticity in their songs. Beyond these musicians, Nix's impact is felt in a wide range of others who respect her for her ability to blend personal sensitivity with strong on-stage presence. For a new generation of musicians, her contributions to rock music, unique vocals, and creative approach to songwriting have made her a rock-solid reference. Stevie Nicks is a major contributor to pop culture, distinguished by her ethereal image, feminist icon role, and ongoing relevance over decades. With her flowing clothing, top hats, and layered shawls, Nix's public image has become legendary and represents a mix of rock royalty and mystical appeal. Her unique approach has affected popular culture and fashion, motivating followers and other musicians to adopt a like-minded approach. In looking at both Stevie Nicks's solo work and her time with Fleetwood Mac, her unmatched influence across decades of music continues to resonate today. Nicks, a feminist icon, broke through a field controlled by men. Her triumph as a female rock star in the 1970s and 1980s questioned conventional gender roles and established a standard for next generations of musicians. Nicks is a symbol of empowerment and resiliency, since she can express her voice and keep artistic control. Many women have been motivated to follow their artistic aspirations and claim their presence in the music business by her achievements. By always changing her music and public image, Nicks has also kept relevant over decades. Her career spans several decades, and she has regularly embraced evolving musical trends while remaining loyal to her artistic vision. From her early collaborations with Fleetwood Mac to her solo career and most recent projects, Nicks has shown a remarkable capacity to connect with next generations of listeners. Her ongoing success and public profile are evidence of her artistic integrity and appeal. The legacy of Fleetwood Mac is profoundly entwined with those of Stevie Nicks. With its creative sound and impactful albums, Fleetwood Mac has been a major player in rock history from its 1967 founding. When Nicks joined the band in 1975, its music gained a fresh perspective and a period of unheard-of popularity was facilitated. Turning our focus now to Fleetwood Mac, Nicks' role in the band's success cannot be overstated. The band reached a pinnacle with the release of Fleetwood Mac and Rumours, particularly Rumours, which is among the best-selling albums of all time. Nicks's songwriting and vocals were absolutely crucial for its popularity. Songs including Dreams, Gold Dust Woman, and Rhiannon highlighted Nicks' distinctive voice and lyrical depth, and her contributions have helped define the band's sound in this legendary era. Influence of Fleetwood Mac spans several decades and genres. Their unique style, combined with their ability to mix rock, pop, and blues, guarantees their place in rock history. Still a mainstay of popular culture, the band's songs inspire fresh musicians. Still celebrated extensively, covered and utilized in many media, songs from their classic albums show the timeless appeal of their music. Stevie Nicks's lasting influence on music and culture is undeniable. Her legacy continues to inspire new generations. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.